super light skinned. You know, this is some mad, like, you know, this is things you just be like, oh, is this gonna work? But now it gives me a chance to really accept that I am something different. I am something new. And now it's just I see it more as an opportunity to really be like, well, maybe I don't have to be the next Ye, or I don't have to be the next Wayne. I could just be the first Drake. Sacrificed so much for it already and dedicated so much of my time that I have to push it as far as I possibly can, because I've given up a lot of years. I'm the captain of a ship, and I look behind me and I see a lot of people on board, and you know, full steam ahead. That's just kind of how I have to keep rocking for right now.
One of Canada's own Drizzy Drake is literally on the most iconic hits run in the history of music. When the boy says he's got more hits than the Beatles, he's serious. In just 11 years' time, Drizzy Drake has made history to the extent that we'll likely never see again, and it has now been featured. Earlier this year, Drizzy Drake surpassed by the Glee cast for the most Hot 100 entries of all time. Just to be clear, Hot 100's list was created by Billboard back in August of 1958. The Hot 100 ranks tracks based on physical and digital sales, radio play, and streaming activity. Translation: you gotta have one of the 100 most popular songs in the United States to make the list each week. Drake has did that more than anyone else. He now has 209 Hot 100 entries. So just to put this in perspective, that's more than Jay-Z and Kanye West combined, Nicki Minaj and Chris Brown combined, Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber combined, Elvis Presley and the Beatles combined, Aretha Franklin and James Brown, you get my drift here, combined. As great as Drake has been, there is something to be said about artists who, for the most part, their careers have taken place in the streaming era. And when it's all said and done, the bulk of Drake's career would have taken place in the streaming era. There's something to be said about still going out and physically buying music, all right? Like, look, right now it's super easy to stream Drake's music and everyone else's music. All you need is $10 a month to afford streaming platforms like Apple, Tidal, Spotify, and many others. And then you have access to literally millions of records. But earlier times, you needed to have more effort and energy to go listen to your favorite artist's album. You would have to physically go to the store, drop off $15, sometimes even $20 to go buy an album. There's just more effort that took place years ago in buying music than in the streaming era right now. When you have so much access to music, you can literally get on YouTube and stream a lot of your favorite music nowadays for free. For example, back in 2005, Lil Wayne sold over 1 million copies of the Carter 3 in its first week. That means 1 million people had to go to the store and physically get their hands on Lil Wayne's Carter 3 album, deal with lines, other things, sellouts, all that stuff. That's a tad bit harder than just having your phone in your hand and going to YouTube and audio streaming platforms all over. Speaking of Lil Wayne, in the 2000s, many people believe no other rapper could have the success on the Hot 100 list like Lil Wayne. He's got 168 Hot 100 hits, but Drake has even passed by his mentor, and it ain't even that close anymore.
I think when I first started out, I just wanted to be just as important as Lil Wayne, because I felt like nobody was ever going to be as big as Lil Wayne. Initially, my goal was just to be a protege that didn't flop. You know, I just wanted to be somebody that was like remotely as important as my mentor.
It wasn't always like this, though. As a matter of fact, according to Drake, when Rap-A-Lot Records' Jazz Prince, this is the guy that introduced Wayne to Drake, first gave Drake's music to Wayne, he really wasn't that impressed.
And Jazz told me that he was in the car with Wayne, and he was like, yo, Wayne, did you ever listen to that Drake? Wayne was like, yeah, you know, it's whack. Like, I don't really like it. And then, I guess they kept rolling, and Jazz was like, yo, did you really listen to that? And he's like, nah, I ain't listen to it, you know. And he's like, yo, let me play you something. So Wayne let him play, you know, a couple songs. I got a call from his number. I was getting a haircut, so I picked up the phone, and it was like, I was like, hello, and I said, yo, what's up, this Wayne? You know, like, I was just like, what? I was like, who? He's like, yo, what's up? He's, where is it? I was like, okay. And he's like, yo, man, just heard your stuff, and you know, you got to get down here to Houston. I gotta talk to you about what's going on with you, and you know, I need you on my team.
Drake has had his ups and downs during his tenure in the limelight, including tearing his ACL on stage, getting into a fight at the club, contract disputes, being in the middle of contract disputes, rumored flings, public beefs, even another artist announcing he had a child to the world. But through it all, for the most part, Drake has been pretty consistent and dominant every year he's been in the game. Drake's first appearance on the Hot 100 chart came in 2009 off his debut EP, So Far Gone, entitled Best I Ever Had. That song peaked at number 2 in July of 2000.